Yeah.
That's sad.
Well, we
That,
will. Yeah, I hear that definitely. But yeah, we're gonna get started. Let's get started, and
uh,
we're gonna. I guess we'll wait. I guess they'll come. I sent Brother Bakari and sent him sent him a message. So hopefully he'll come through and forecast. So well, today's topic is why did our black teachers and elders withheld information from us as kids? And I think that's a wonderful topic. And because I'm just mind boggled myself, because it seemed like to me, other races is on board and they on board as a young age. You look at the Asians, they're learning their culture early. No one's criticizing them. No one's saying that they're hateful and they're marrying each other. They have their own code. Um, they're keeping their money circulated among their own. They only hire their own, and no one says nothing. No one says nothing. We see Europeans do it. They teach their kids about their history, where they from. They teach how great Christopher Columbus is. They teach how great their great how George Washington is, and they don't even care that they owned people and slaughtered people or whatever, but they look at them as great conquerors, and white people are proud, right? But when it comes down to African people here in the United States, particularly, we don't do that. Not one black teacher that I had told me about my history. Not even the elders, said anything about, about the enemy, right? But I didn't learn about Malcolm X. I didn't learn about Marcus Garvey in school. And these are the important people in our lives. These people are and I don't know if it's fear, because you can't say it's fear, because it's like, and I can and I'm sorry, I'm not going to turn around and say they didn't know, because as an educator, you're gonna want to know. You're gonna want to know about, so you're gonna want to know about your history, and that's automatic. I think that's a automatically trait. I believe they withheld information, and just basic information. It don't even have to be. They don't even have to get deep with it. And the only time that I learned something about my culture, about my history, was from a brother from Haiti. He was a Haitian brother, and he did it on a low. He wasn't even allowed to mention it. But he said, no, the first paper came from Africa. And he said, and he broke it down. And everybody listened. Ain't nobody never we were just amazed. We was like, I didn't know that. Wow. And I remember like it was yesterday. And he even said, they're not gonna tell you that. He even said the reason why our people are lost because they don't know who they are. They don't know the great things that we did as a people. And he didn't say anything about Haiti. He talked about Africa, because he said, no, this is what we all came from. And it's so disappointing. And then it's so disappointing. And then if the funny thing about then, when you want to know why these what we act the way we act, they act shocked about it. And now it seems like to me we have to teach each other. We have to do the research on our own, where something that our elders and our like, don't get me wrong, my mother, she put me on game too, but she's not, she wasn't deep, she wasn't deep, um she wasn't deep like a scholar would be, right? So she put me game on Malcolm X and Dr. King, You know, the real reason of Dr. King, because she was just like, yo, white people hated Dr. King. Don't be fooled about how nice they saying about him. She told me about Jim Crow because she said she lived in that era. Like she was born in 1955, so she knows what went down. So she's not gonna. She said there was a Klan that literally marched in her in on the block, and she thought there were she thought it was a circus. She thought it was like a, you know, as a kid she didn't think nothing of it. And the fan was like, nah, that's the Klan. But she didn't. But she's young. She didn't know. So these are the stories that my mother taught me. Um, so I just felt like it was something that we should have had an institution that taught about our empires, our heroes, and they failed to do that. Our elders failed. Our so-called black teachers. To me, they're not teachers. You know, like that's how I look at it. You're not a teacher if you're afraid or to speak out the truth for your own people, while everybody or every culture is on board. You know what I mean? So I just want that's my take on it. I'll just pass the mic to Rashid and CJ, Duke, Erica, and Lizzo. Lizzo Shade.
Salute my brother McCoy. Welcome in. You made it, my brother. McCoy. You man, like I was saying, you was talking about yesterday, man. I was saying that we're easy bad on each other. I'm gonna tell you what's
Oh,
going
I
on,
didn't even
man.
see Brother Bakari. There you go, Brother Bakari. I didn't see you there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, man. You was talking about yesterday, man. Anything we gotta start. We gotta go after the true enemy. Cause remember what you talking about. I know you don't agree with their lifestyle. Anything, it ain't their fault. We gotta go after the true enemy that's going after our kids, and we refuse to go after our European. We could be complaining, fussing, talk about each other, but you fall. I told myself you fall in their trap. That's what they want us to do. They want us to argue back and forth with each other, talk about sexual intercourse, anything. You gotta play chess with them. You know how you play chess with them? You don't do what they expect you to do. Disown your own people. So you might find out your son is gay. You don't know what he went through. I noticed that we don't never talk about child unless it's going on in our community. I never hear you mention about in the, on your platform. You never talk about it with about molesting, child molesting, kids being touched by grown ups, they being touched and they're afraid to tell their parents and all that. And it's a shame. That's going on heavy in our community. And it's got to change, man. We only want to make it change because there ain't no like Europeans gonna do it because they pushing that to our kids. So only us to stop it. Only us to do it as a grown up. On us to stop all this nonsense madness. Cause we all that complaining, yelling, screaming ain't gonna get it done. We got to put the work in and do it, man. All we can do is put the work in. Be there for our kids, protect our women, protect our beautiful queen sister and all that. But in the day, I ain't gonna disown my own people because they gay. They still my people in the day. I still love them as my people. Black first. I might not agree with their lifestyle, but in the day, they still black first. Because in the day, it's not their fault. You know, we don't know what they went through. They could have been molested, raped, all kind of stuff in the day. In the day, we gotta start creating an economic. Like that's like all this week we just talk about. We gotta build, create economic, and like teach our own history and teach our kids our own history, everything. Because in the day, nobody's not gonna never teach you who you are. You got to know who you are. Once we know who we are, we'll be empowered. How much? 805. 805. Yeah, man. Seriously, man. We gotta wake up, man. I appreciate you putting me on, let me on your platform. I'm gonna be listening to. I'm gonna be listening to you more topic and pass to the next mic.
All right, no doubt.
Yeah, just let you know, Rashid. The question is, why did our black teachers and elders withhold important information from us as children? That was literally the question. Go ahead.
No question about it. No, I know about that. I'm gonna tell you why they fold. They was told they was bought and paid, bro. It's because the money got in their face. The bag came through. Let me get my bag. My bag. Bag came through them. You know how money come in your face and how they throw it in your face. And money had thrown in that bag and came through and they sold out to the slave master. And the day they was weak as shit. And we like that's how they look at us as weak people. And instead of saying no, I'm good. I ain't selling out to my people. I'm for my people first. we'll go for anything. We see that bag in front of our face, you know they're gonna do anything for that money, that paper bag. That's what happened. Our elders, they sold to the system. And a lot of them is gone, man. And I'm glad you speaking upon it about why our elders not telling the truth, why they told. I appreciate that, man. Continue to stay strong, my brother. We need more brothers like you and McCord. I pass on the next. Pass on the next.
Yeah, no doubt. Man, this is a real good topic, yo. And I was kind of speaking on this yesterday, but I just remember me personally. Oh man, when I grew up in the school, the schools that I went to, man, they were like really, really, really disruptive, like straight up. Like the teachers and the principal weren't in control. The students were. Like, not only did they not teach us our history, man, shoot, my school that I went to, man, really didn't teach us much of anything. Like the gangs ran the school. Like, yo, man, I went to a school. It reminded you of that movie Lean on Me with Morgan Freeman. Like my school, my whole entire school district, literally, I got shut down due to mismanagement of funds, man, by the school board. So it was just a whole lot of corruption, and like the last brother was saying, that it was just all about the bag. It was all about a paycheck. They didn't even care. Not only did the students, they care less. Not only did the students get a proper education on their own history, they didn't give a damn. Students even got education at all. Man, we have one of the highest dropout rates up in the whole damn state. Straight up. Now, I remember, and I could go back. I remember, man, like during Black History Month, they did. Some teachers gave us a little bit of information, but all they told us about was all I could recall is, George Washington, making a million and one things with the peanut, or, they taught us about, um, us being slaves, or, Dr. King, and, he turned the other cheek to white folks, and they never taught us about Malcolm X. They never taught us about, African history, like nothing like that. Now, I was looking at this news article, and this came out probably a little bit less than a month ago. Yo, in a white school, they had little white babies. Just they took. I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with this. During Black History Month, they had little white babies use those paper plates and cut holes off for eyes and paint it black, and they celebrated Black History Month in blackface.
Mm.
Like seriously. And it was like a huge backlash, due to that. So they, white even at white schools, they made mockery of our people by letting the little children, I believe this was like first graders, um dress up in blackface. You know, so that's how you hold the people back, by denying them proper education of who they are as a people. The plan has always been to keep us miseducated. And that's how we remain subservient to the system.
Mm.
We remain just puppets for the system, because we don't see any um value up in ourselves. We don't see any value up in ourselves because we don't know our greatness. We don't know our greatness. I remember, yeah, they did play the movie Roots in class, but that's by design. They wanted us to grow up. They wanted us to grow up and be indoctrinated as being nothing but the slaves, nothing but people who drink from colored only water fountains. They never told us about what I'm saying, all of our great. Um, they never taught us about Nat Turner like that, or Malcolm X, or the great African um warriors who fought. Like I never even heard anything about the battle, about what do they call it, the Haitian Revolution. Like those are the type of things that we needed to learn as children. That we fought back. You know what I'm saying? Um, Ethiopia defeated Mussolini, and Italy and stuff like that. Man, we need to see more examples of us, man, being warriors. all they taught us. I'm not sure what they're doing today, but all they taught us, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, is just black folk, you know, um, begging white people. They showed us a little bit about the minstrel shows and blacks as slaves and the blacks as slaves and being humble to white people, and they taught us about the mammies and what I'm saying, all that type of stuff, man. So it's all by design, but I do have to say this: our black teachers, they should have took it upon themselves to protest. They should have got together because these are the people that's supposed to be educated. They should have took it upon themselves to protest, go to the more parents within the community too. Protest, go to the school board, and what I'm saying, make the damn school board do something about this. But nah, at the end of the day, they just want to keep, you know, our teachers just participated with the system to keep. That's why you see a lot of black folks that believe in the illusion of inclusion because we was never taught at an early age that we were great. And I'll pass the mic.
Who goes next? Let's go with Sister Erica, then Duke, and then Brother Bakari, and then Liz O'Shea.
I think that as far as the school goes, I think that I was born in '76, so I was born when the schools. I started going to schools in 1980, so the school was good and integrated then. But that they was integrated and they had to go by a curriculum, so they couldn't teach us that stuff. It was up to our parents and our parents' to teach us about that. And I feel like they closed their eyes to it because, like I said last night, Jim Crow was just over with in 1965. Then the '70s rolled in, and everybody thought everything was okay in the '70s. Then the '80s rolled in, they sure thought everything was okay then. With everything being mixed up, the music was mixed up. God, do you remember in the '80s that it was some white groups making music? What's that girl, Tina Marie? I didn't find out Tina Marie was white until I got grown.
Yeah, they call her the Ivory of Soul.
I did not know Tina Marie, so everybody was mixed in with each other, and I guess they felt like everything was okay.
It
And
was
so
a white dude too who was singing. I thought he was black. What's that famous song?
Michael McDonald,
Yeah,
it's a lot of them.
yeah.
I
Oh,
already
he
know
was
who you
another
talking
story.
about.
That's that white guy. Oh shit.
Bobby Caldwell.
Yep, him too. So I mean, everything was was blissful. So they thought that everything was okay. But remember what I told y'all? My granddaddy kept saying, "Y'all gonna regret this, cause Jim Crow ain't over." My granddaddy said that forever, and damn if it didn't hit. But I pass the mic to next time.
Okay, brother Duke, it's on you.
Okay. All right, my brother. Yeah, good topic. Good topic. I believe that all the crows are still here. It's nothing but systemic racism. You have the slavery crow, the Jim Crow, and now the Jane Crow. They're all crows. They're all white systems. And I think as far as the question is concerned, they didn't do it because of what the brother was saying or she, because of money. They were paid, they were bought. You know what I'm saying? Uh, the curriculum, actually, if you think about it, the enemy's divide and conquer plan is in the educational system. So he got to grab us young so it can keep us old, have a hold on us when we're older. So it's the same principle as the analogy of taking a lion's cub, out of the jungle and raising it to be grown. And by the time you raised it, it is able to be in circuses and putting humans' heads in his mouth and doing all kinds of things. But then when you try to put that same lion that was raised by a human back into the wild, he won't survive. He don't even know he have a roar. The Lion King cartoon has a message. He don't know he have a roar. He don't know how strong he is. He gonna get eaten up by even inferior animals like wolves. They gonna tear him apart. He don't realize he a king. And that's exactly what is going on in systemic racism. The educational system is part of the agenda so that they can have the end say, so that what's going on now is in the plan. So our young is all over the place. And even today, teachers are still responsible to push the revolution, at least to say we want to put a little bit more black education in it from our perspective. Don't give me no white teacher to teach me about slavery. Don't give me no white teacher to teach me about Jim Crow. No, I don't want to hear it from him. I want to hear it from one of us. Why? Because we can feel it and we're going to tell it and we ain't going to sugarcoat it. But that white teacher going to sugarcoat it. He going to say, oh, yeah, now those days are over. He going to tell it because he feel, what did Malcolm call it? A complex of kind of, what do you call that? It was a term when you guilt complex. Yeah, you can't have a white man or a white woman teaching you with a guilt complex about slavery and Jim Crow. You got to be kidding me. You got to be one of us, and not just any one of us. One of us who is not sold to the dollar. One of us who cares about his own kind. One of us who is willing to build a future for his own kind as well. But I rest my mic. Thank you for that topic for today.
So on you, brother Bakar.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
What's
Look,
up,
y'all,
Bakari?
can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can,
'Cause I
brother.
don't know.
We can. We
Yeah,
can.
we
Okay,
can
good.
hear you loud and clear.
Because I don't know if my app tripping or not. Hey, but you know what? We can say they sold out for money. I guess people needed a job. Because it ain't like they was getting no big money being a school teacher. Why didn't they teach us? I agree with Erica as well that it was not part of the curriculum, right? We all have kids. Of us can raise our hand right now and say we went to the school and told the school today that we don't like what they're teaching our kids. So when we say the teachers, those teachers, especially back then, they were lucky to be able to get enough education to be able to teach somebody, right? To teach us. So then today, it going up and we say, why didn't they teach us? Went through the, like you said, a curriculum. Some of them may have not known where to find it. But as far as elders in the community, I had people tell me. They didn't tell me everything. They told me certain things. They may have not said it because maybe they wanted to protect you. And I think sometimes they wanted to direct you away from hate. That's my take on it. Because hate can control you. And when you're full of hate and rage, sometimes you can't think. So for me, I was told I was just directed to love my people. And was hate ever there? Yes. But I don't want hate to control me, right? So I just learned to direct that on my people. I just think that's part of the reason that they didn't tell us. Some of them couldn't find it. They didn't know where to do the research. Shit, it's 2022. A lot of us today don't know where to do the research. Like, we don't. How many of us? Like, I'm gonna give you an example. I was in a barbershop. This was about a month ago. It was about 12 of us. We sitting in there talking. Only one person had a library card. So what you can't find on the internet, and you don't have a library card, I was the only person in there with a library card. So yes, the teachers have a responsibility, but being at home, we have a responsibility as well. That's why the first question I asked, with all of us having kids, how many of us have gone to the school and told the school, I don't like this, or they send something home, like they send something home talking about what was it, Black History. I went to the school. No, Halle Berry, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson is not Black History. Martin Luther King, yeah, we know him. Y'all, my kid's not doing that. Or just like my homeboy did. They told, no, at his school, no, that's not what we doing. We're going to do real Black history. And through that process, forced them to give a real Black history program after I did what I did. And of course, they didn't want me involved. I was too radical. But I didn't care that someone else got the credit for it. I don't care about that. But I know it was me who went there, and then my friend who went there. No, you're not sending this home. I stood out in front of the schools. No, tear that up. Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Halle Berry is not Black history. Tear it up. Tear it up. Let's go find some more Black history. I was asking, do y'all know who Henry T. Sampson is? Don't nobody know Henry T. Sampson. So we did a whole, do y'all know Mansa Musa? All of these things. Even talked about the Haitian Revolution, because my Black history don't just start here. My Black history ain't just in America. So they had to do a whole program. And me, my son, my daughter, and other kids got together and picked out the people, and other people set up the program, and I was cool with that. And I yield the mic.
All right, Lizo Shay, it's on you.
Yes, Lethal Shadow. How you doing,
Oh, Lizo
guys?
Shadow. My bad.
Yeah, it's all right. But yeah, man, growing up as a kid, I didn't learn a god dang thing, not from my elders or my teachers. And by the way, none of my teachers were black because, yeah, we moved in a small little Mexico town in California, and it was all nothing but white and Hispanic people. Yeah, I mean, there are some black folks there, but yeah, neither one of them I ever had as a teacher. So yeah, they would always teach about the whitewashed version of Martin Luther King. They don't mention anything about Malcolm X, and those type of things. Um, yeah, and they only mentioned bits and pieces about slavery, how black people were picking cotton, but never really got too deep with it, how they actually killed, sodomized, and did all bunch of nefarious things to black people back in the slavery days. And why did my mother keep this hidden from me? Well, do not know why, but yeah, like, and then after I left high school, like, by the time I graduated high school, I didn't really learn a freaking thing, man. I left school feeling stupid. And, fast forwarding to 2012, I have to learn the true history of our people through, the B1 people like Phil Scott from the African Diaspora News Channel, Jason Black, Professor Black Truth, and all those guys. That's how I learned. And that's how I learned to, get on code with black folks and make sure to, punish white supremacy if need be when they go on the offense and we have to go on the defense against those guys. So yeah, that's basically, my life story right there in summary. Yeah, I'll pass the mic.
Yeah, I just want to. I definitely can co-sign that, Lizo Shadow, because and the reason why, because was it really integration? No, I think it was segregation, because it was they separate but not equal for me, because my school was all black. I believe the teachers had a responsibility. I'm not going to believe whatsoever because first of all, our history should have been every day, not just for 1 month. It should have been every day. No, today we're gonna learn about African history. That should have been top of our curriculum. I mean, yeah, we're gonna learn how to write and read and all that stuff. That's a given. Because if you're teaching all black kids, I'm from Harlem. There's no excuse. You're talking about the Mecca. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. So I'm not gonna believe that they didn't know, or I'm not gonna believe that because all our ancestors that paved the way from the 1800s and so on, they didn't have that much. They didn't have a computer. They went on and got research and knew who they are, knew where they came from. So you talking about the time that my mother was born? My mother didn't know everything. She only knew because she was there. She was there. She was part of history. So she only knew what she experienced. So she couldn't, but she didn't tell me about ancient Kemet. She didn't tell me about black people, and from ancient Kemet to all the way to all the way from history from West Africa and all this other stuff from the east to west of Africa. She didn't tell me none of that. But she only knew what she experienced because she was part of history. And even when she could tell you, hey, I only know what I know. I know one thing: the white people are our enemy. I know that. So, but what about her parents and her parents' parents? And you know what I mean? So our people had a responsibility. Our people had a responsibility. I'm not. We got to, and and to me, I'm not going to make excuses. I'm not. There's no excuses when it comes down to important information that we need to know as children, and especially you trying to make the generation better. So the teachers that from I was growing up, the black teachers that I had, they had a responsibility. They had a huge responsibility, and they failed. Some of our parents and our elders, some of our parents and our grandparents had a huge responsibility, and they failed. But then you had Asians; they lived here for years, centuries, almost. So how is that? How they can be able into this integration society or whatever you want to call it? Why are they doing better? Why was it how they get to talk about their emperors and their people? How does white kids get to talk about George Washington and their conquerors and all that stuff? But when it comes down to us, we can't say it because we are being paid not to say it. Our parents should have said no. You're gonna put African history in the school system, or we taking our kids out. There won't be no school. We're gonna teach them at home. It should have been some threats need to be made. And then you want to know why we're not doing better? You want to know why we're fighting against each other? You want to know why there's a dysfunctional? I shouldn't have to be learning at all this at the age of my late 30s into my 40s. This is something, all the information I have now, it should have been indoctrinated since we was babies. There's no excuse. You got to stop doing that. And like I said, it was just basic knowledge, just basic information. Like CJ said, the Haitian Revolution. That's basic information. All that stuff, all that work our people did just for us to ignore it is unacceptable. That's our history, damn it. And we should have learned it then. And then you want to know why we grew up so angry. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable. What's going on, Ghetto? Go ahead. It's on you.
Yeah, I just got in here. I'm just filling out the room.
Oh, okay, okay. That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay, so we're gonna go with Rashid. Go ahead, Rashid. It's on you.
What was another topic question we talking about? Hello?
Yeah.
What question is it again? Because
No, no,
I'm
go ahead.
in
It's on
between.
you. We're still talking about the same topic, man.
Oh, same topic. Yo, I was man, but I ain't get taught. I'm the same way like everybody. I ain't get taught. I was taught wrong, man. They used to put me on medicine. Say that something wrong with me because I knew too much. I was wondering why they had me on medicine CD. Right, Slim. I don't wonder why they had me on medicine CD. I ain't never slow. Was never wrong with me. I noticed that them teachers, white Europeans, they lied to about top. The lady I stayed with told her that I needed medicine. I ain't need no medicine, and they never. I found out they were all they was teaching us in school was Christmas Columbus, and we was a slave and all that. They never taught me no Malcolm X. They never taught me no Marco Garvey, none of that stuff. I had to find out on my own once I got older and we started getting these high technology smartphones. That's when I found out who I really was and did my research. I started seeking knowledge and wisdom and started doing my own homework because schools wasn't teaching us none of that. They wasn't teaching us none of that at all. We was being led to slaughterhouse, and they all they was doing propelled us in the street to be in the game banners, drugs, theater, and all that nonsense. They're not teaching you how to build economic wealth where you could pass it down to your kids, your children. You wasn't taught all that. You were taught to be 9 to 5 and be a slave all your life. And that ain't the way to live. How you doing, come here? That ain't the way to live, bro. Well, come on now. Anybody can see that. And it's crazy that you know that the white Europeans are taught to build their own business while they're young. They teach their kids how to build their own economic, build their store, create financial freedom. None of that. That's what they never gonna teach us. They're never gonna teach us. Good, I'm doing good. Yeah, they ain't never gonna teach us, man. We all week because that's crazy. I had to find out who I was. It's just a shame. And I come to find out it was never nothing wrong with me. I wasn't slow. Everybody they had me on mental MR, mental retarded class. They claim I'm a MR and something wrong with me. I was on learning disability. These man, the system was fucked up, man. We had been brainwashed. That's all I can tell you. The schools had jacked us up, and they continue to teach our people lies and lies and lies. And at the end of the day, it's gonna be our job to teach our kids who they are. Cause everybody know who we are except us. We got to wake up and realize that, study ourselves and look in the mirror like I did. I looked in the mirror and found out who I really was, and I became very conscious after that. Cause I was caught up in the matrix like everybody else and thought that that's the way to live and be going your own step away. I said, no, that ain't the way to live. We need each other. We got to learn how to work together and help each other back. Because ain't nobody can do it by itself. We need one another. Point blank period. I pass my mic next.
And I want to just add on something too. You notice how they want to enforce that it's okay to enforce this LGBTQ on our children, on the youth, but when it comes on to African history, they won't allow that. I just want to throw that in there. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, Sister Erica, it's on you.
Um, it's it's up to us to start passing down things now. Like I was telling you all last night that now my grandmama and my great grandmama did tell me stuff a little bit, but when it started to get heavy and gruesome, they cut it off. Just like my big mama. That's my great grandmama. And I remember I asked her, um, how did we get here? in the area that I'm in because she was from Philadelphia. I said, well, well, Big Mama, how did we end up way here? She said, um, her daddy brought her and her sister back down south in an area called Forsyth, Georgia. And she said that her daddy did some work for a white man, and the white man didn't pay him all of his money. And they got into it, and that she said her daddy beat him up real bad. And so in Forsyth, they were getting together. The white man went back to get his folks together. Now, my big mama was born in 1919. She said she was about 6 at the time. So, she said the white people was getting their stuff together. She said all she remember is her and her sister, they daddy, and some other lady. And she said she just remembered them just having to run. They couldn't really get anything out of their house or whatever. They basically had to just leave with what they had on their backs. I didn't ask her how I don't know if a cover was, I don't know. She just said that they had to run, and she was like, and that's how we ended up in Macon. So she did tell me that, and then she told me that she used to work for this white couple. She said it was because you all do know that after slavery, you all do know that even though black people were free, I'm talking about down south, you do know that black people still worked on plantations and in big houses. You know that, right? Did you know that, guy?
I knew that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So she had to go to the plantation to work, and this gonna sound gruesome. Now, I don't care if y'all get mad at me. If you talk about my big mama, I'm gonna cuss you out, and we ain't gonna never be friends. I'm just telling you that right now. She did what she had to do. Big mama said she was saying about this lady baby, and she said she looked at that baby, and she said she told that little baby, "You a little bitty baby now, but you gonna grow up to hate me,
Mm-hmm.
and you gonna kill my children, or you gonna hold them back." My big mama said, when a baby is first born, they have a soft spot in the top of their head, right? My big mama said she got a pen. Y'all know what a straight pen is?
Yeah.
She said she used to get a straight pen and stick it in that baby soft spot every day until the baby. She said she refused.
Mm.
And she said if she had to do 1,000 more like that, she would do it because she was going to save her children before she saved theirs. I don't care if y'all get mad at me. You ain't going to talk about my big mama because we going to have it out like hell right here on this
We ain't mad,
platform, and
sister.
we'll never be friends. But
Sister,
that's what she did, and
no,
I'm not mad at her, and I
I'm not mad either.
understand her.
I'm not mad either. She did. Nah, she did the right thing. I hate to say that. She did what she had to do. You know what I mean? That's all the war. You know what I mean?
Because look what they did to our babies.
That's right. That's right.
They fed them to fucking alligators. That's what the fuck we didn't learn in school.
That's
I
right.
didn't know that until I got grown. That's what we didn't learn in school. That they fed our babies to alligators. So what? She stuck a straight pen in their head. I'm glad she did it. I passed the mic.
Who goes on? Brother Duke, go ahead. It's on you.
Okay, okay. Um, yeah, sister, that was all good because I'm a Khalid Muhammad fan, so he didn't play, so he was like, we got to go to war, and war doesn't always look like guns and bombs. It could be, what I'm saying, in other ways. But I had a conversation some time ago about the school system and the education on how it's getting worse, and um, we had a conversation about what can we do. We don't have money to to buy school. We do have money, but it's going to take time to get that started. But then we concluded that the solution for now would be to review the curriculum for our children in these schools, review it, monitor it, and then re-educate them, on the spot. Somehow, we can't go into the school. I'm saying somehow being able to get to what they teaching, you know, the Martin Luther King and all the. Then when they're trying to creep in the LBGT, it ain't no creep no more. They actually coming in straightforward with it. So we have to see what they teaching. I'm talking about us parents, and then fix that, and then re-educate, teach, and it need to be in an organization form or a program form or after school program form or something, because then we could keep up with uh, what they're teaching, and then we can counteract on it, counter intelligently. That way, our children won't get too far gone, because for as long as we're not doing anything, it's getting worse and worse, and that's what the system is supposed to do. Destroy us, and we're being destroyed. So I believe that just for the sake of a solution would be to monitor, review, and stay up on it. Each parent, each black parent, stay up on the curriculum, what they teaching, what's the subject, especially in the social sciences. You know, whether history. It's always going to be again Martin Luther King and others that really ain't no, what I'm saying, point of education. And then also pushing for, I'm talking about changing affecting the school system, education system, pushing for education and trade. That should be in schools, where children can learn, they can learn businesses and trade. Business and trade should be in the schools too. So it's things that we could do as parents for now to help make a difference, because right now not doing nothing is going to cause it to get worse and worse. It's always something else that's going on with the system. It's getting worse and worse. It's like Babylon. That's what it's like Babylon. Babylon, combination of Sodom and Gomorrah and a combination of other villages that were destroyed in the Bible. That's what it's like to me. So I think my closing thought is that we should step up, each individual parent, on the curriculum, monitor the curriculum, and then I like to propose that we not only do it individually, but somehow come together on it too, because that's where the power is, and create an after-school program if we have to, straight black proud after-school program that touches on history and science in our perspective, in our way, and that's a revolution in and of itself. But because the money is not readily available. We have the money, but it's not, when you start to organize, it's going to take time. But the right now thing is to actually approach the school educational system, what they teach and how they teaching it, so we can reteach and give our children the right perspective, our perspective. I rest my mic.
Go ahead, CJ. It's on you.
Yeah, no doubt. Man, yeah. See, I give a huge shout out to the Black conscious community. I mean, hate it, love them, and it's a lot of controversy about different members of the Black conscious community. But I gotta say this: um, most of my information and the stuff that I learned actually came from a lot of the different scholars and lecturers with inside the Black conscious community, and I like it because it makes it cool to want to learn. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It made it cool to be knowledgeable when it comes to our history. Because like I had never heard anything about the alligator bait, about babies, black babies being tied to ropes and thrown up into the swamp and used as alligator bait. And I agree with Brother Bakari. Something, man, the truth really does hurt. And it made me formulate my opinion by listening to some of these things, how they would uh, hold black women down and
A lamb to the slaughter, man.
Yes, sorry about that. I don't know. My thing had froze, so I'm just glad everybody stayed on until I came back because that something was wrong. Everything just paused. Last time I heard CJ, and he just kind of cut off, and I'm like, what's going on? So I thought something was wrong with his, but something was wrong with my thing. I want to apologize for that. Um, so who goes next?
I think it's Bakari.
Oh,
I
okay.
think.
All right, go ahead, brother Picard. It's on you.
I'm
Yeah.
about to pray
You
now.
know, the thing, right? When we say what they didn't teach us coming out of slavery, I'm willing to bet you like 98%. And that might be a high number. So I'll say 95% of black people was illiterate or unliterate, however I choose to say it right now. They didn't know how to read, couldn't count, and I say that, and I'm going to say it like this. My mom was 27. My dad was born in 20. My grandparents were born in the 1800s, right? And the reason they focus a lot on education, learning how to read, write, and count when she was and I'm saying it like that, and I'm gonna tell you how they told me. They put emphasis on that. That's what was important. That was being stolen from them, especially sharecropping. And she was like, well, your daddy family. And my dad would sit there and I would ask him questions, and whether she was right, he'll tell me. Your dad family, they couldn't steal from him when they couldn't steal from him when they were sharecropping because his his mom and dad and his grandmom and dad, all of them could read, write, and count. They put emphasis on count like that. So learning about history and learning about all that, that was first of all, like I say, most of them couldn't read. So then that wasn't as important as trying to figure out a way to make a living. So then we can come on up to the 1920s, 1930s, 1940s. And what has been passed down was get your education, get an education, learn how to do this. Yes, should some things been passed down? Yeah, fortunately for me, I was told some things. Fortunately for me, you understand? But everybody didn't have the situation or wasn't born in the situation that I was born in. Like I said, I know my great grandmom was a slave. Actually, on both sides, but I know my mom's grandmom, right, was born in 1853. She was born in 1853. She was born into slavery. My grandmom's is from Africatown, Alabama. My granddad, my mom, dad was born uh shit toward the end, right at the end, right after Reconstruction. So it wasn't much that they could tell. And I think if you look now in 2022, I forget who it was, Rashid or CJ, one of them said they didn't know nothing until they got into their 30s, right? So I couldn't remember which one it is, so I knew it was one of them. But if they didn't know anything until they got into their 30s, so like what was stopping us from wanting to learn and go look on on our own, right? And then, like I said earlier, and Brother Dukes kind of touched on it, but I would say it again: with all of us having kids, and we can say what the teachers did not teach. How many of us have gone to the school to check the curriculum? How many of us have gone to the school ourselves to say, no, this is not what my kids going to be doing? I ain't going to say what we should do. Let's talk what we have already done. I know we should do it, but like, who has done it already and say, this, my kids ain't learning this. This is not history. Because you know what? We can talk about the other, because you know what the generation that coming up now going to say about us? The ones like 10, 11, 12, you know what they're going to say about us? You know what? Our folks just sit back and watch and let them push that damn homosexuality down our throat, and none of them ever came to the school. So that generation going to be able to say, we didn't do anything, right? But we are more educated
Facts.
today. We are more educated today than they were coming out of slavery, right? We are holding them accountable for some things that they just couldn't do. They just couldn't damn read. Most of them signed their name with an X. When they was talking about stealing property down here, that's how down in the South, that's how a lot of the property was stolen, burned down the black courthouse. The black people couldn't read to say if it was theirs or not. That's how it was taken from them. Most of the black people in this country just couldn't read. Like if you look at our literacy rate today. So it's going to go on if we don't stop it now. Right? So I look and I say we have to accept our responsibility for today. Should they have taught us some things? Yes, they should have. And like I say, for me, I was a different situation. I heard one brother, Leo, I can't say his name, he said he had no black teachers. Ah, shit. And I remember doing a thing, we was online. How many black male teachers you had in school? All mine. Every year I was in school, I had at least 2 black male teachers. That's the truth. I had a black male principal at my school. We would go play, but my school, the school my brothers graduated from, is different than the school I graduated from, because they shut one that my older siblings graduated. They shut that one down my 10th grade, and we had to go to another school. But still had black male teachers, and we had a black assistant principal there. But our teachers, like we go at the school, I was my 7th, 8th, 9th, because we went to little schools, so I could play high school sports in the 7th grade. All of us went to the same school. And we playing bigger schools. Our coaches used to be like, we going up here in these hills. Ain't nothing up here but a bunch of rednecks. Any black person you see up here probably going to be a damn Oreo, or they scared of these crackers. But I'm just saying, but see, that's me. That's my experience, right? Everybody else had a different, they had a different experience. But to hold people who couldn't read, write, or count responsible, right, for not passing down certain things, I don't know. I think they're being judged unjustly. That's why I mentioned when I was talking about how many people had a library card. Because if you can't find it online, and like I said, when I was in the barbershop, out of between 12, 15 people, only one person had a library card, and that was me. So as today, we have to accept responsibility for what we can do and what we can teach our youth. Now you're Mike.
Okay, but all right. So I'm just gonna weigh in, um, because yeah, we can mention about our folks and the that came out of came out of slavery, but when you have during a time in the 50s and the 60s, I would say between the 60s and the 70s, and even in the 80s, what happened? Our people were intelligent. They had access to learn about their history. There was nothing stopping them. So we're not talking about we're talking about right after Jim Crow. Okay, so you had segregation and all that stuff. So there was nothing stopping our people at that time to really. And then we have anger, right? We have this anger towards our enemy, and that should have been fuel to the say, you know what? We instead of teaching our children to love America, a white America, we're gonna teach our children to not love them, and we're gonna tell them why. This is what happened. This is what we did. There's many ways to skin a cat. There's many ways to fight back. Like I said, the first black teacher that I had was a brother from Haiti. And he taught us about the first paper, the first this, the first how African people did this. And we was amazed because this something it was new to it was refreshing to see our people that looks like us that actually invented things, that actually done things way before. Um, it wasn't there was we didn't hear that until um, we didn't it wasn't what our people did during slavery. How black people used to clean their teeth in Africa. He said, "Oh, He said, "Why do you think African people's teeth are so white?" He said, "With the toothpick, they just clean their teeth with the pick." And that brought up the toothpaste and the toothbrush and all that stuff that our people did. So whatever our people did, invented did, came from Africa. It was a brother that said that. So I don't want to hear that they didn't know. They had a responsibility. So if a teacher's telling me this information, oh, they knew. And that was in the 90s, mind you. That was in the 90s. So the information is there. If Marcus Garvey knew about his culture and his history, and you talking about what, early 1900s, I don't want to hear that's a poor excuse. Now, I'm not going to judge the ones who I'm not going to judge the ones who couldn't read or write, but they can tell a story at least about. I mean, they could speak. They could talk about their experience. They could talk about, hey, we had to do this and we had to do that. These people are these race of people. They not our friends, and that's something that should have been passed down. It should have been indoctrinated in all levels. So the ones that are educated, and I call it the miseducation, miseducated because they knew better, but they failed to teach us. So when they teach us about Black History Month, and these are Black people doing this, Mike, it's watered down. It's watered down. And I felt that, and it was not too long ago, a teacher got fired because she was teaching African history. Not too long ago. But imagine all the Black teachers is band together and say, no, our kids don't know who they are, and it's our responsibility. If my parents, maybe that teacher who taught them, whatever Black teacher they had a responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Because each generation is being affected by this. And then you want to know why we in the same boat. You know? So now we are in the age now kids can just click on the sonnetas. They can click on these people now, and they can learn something. And they can get the information from us now because now we know. And there's no excuse at this point. But it was no excuse back then either. Like I said, I had a teacher that taught me about history. And he said this. He told us himself that they're not gonna let these people ain't gonna let you know who you are. They're going to keep this information from you. This is the reason why black people are acting the way they act, because they don't know who they are. And you got, and see, and like I said, even the ones who not educated, I can understand, but they have stories to tell. At least say, hey, those white people ain't your friend. Don't live among them. Don't live among these people. They don't like you. They don't hate you. Don't marry them. They could have said something. So that's I won't. I'm not going to. Everybody has a responsibility, including us. I don't. We got to stop out with this cop out talk. I'm tired of that. So we have to include our culture and our history, and we have to make that part of us. That's what make us who we are. If other races are doing it, we need to get on board. We can't make no excuses. We gotta get on board, and sometimes we might even have to educate our parents if our parents are still living, whether they want to hear it or not. So, so that's the reason why I had it, because, like I said, I was in the class mostly all my life full of black kids, full of black kids. So there's no excuse. And African history should have been every day, all year round. African history is not 1 month to me. That's bull. Where you have white history almost every year of the day. We gotta stop doing that. They should have been the teacher's responsibility, because some of our parents, they don't know. They don't know. But if the ones that are educated, the ones that do know, they should have been, because they teach. If they could teach American history, how are you not going to say they don't know about African history? Why would they push that? Why would they push George Washington, knowing that George Washington owned enslaved Africans? They knew. I'm sorry, they knew. Yeah, I will hold them against. I will hold them accountable. That's just me. Um, who goes next? Rashid. I go Rashid. Go ahead, Rashid.
Hello, what the question about? That's right in time. I just got out of praying too. What was the question about?
Now we still talking about the same question. We just still.
Hello,
You hear me?
you still talking about the same question?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I can
yeah,
hear you.
yeah. I was just saying that
Yeah,
our teachers. No, I was just. I don't know if you heard what I said, but I just.
repeat that. Repeat that. Repeat what you were saying. Repeat that.
Ah, man, I'm not. It seemed like to me.
My bad. I apologize.
No, it
I
seemed like to me
apologize.
you're in the
I just
you
got there praying. I was praying. I was praying, making. I just got there praying. That's why.
Oh,
And I'm
okay.
glad it came back. It came back on me that time. It
Oh,
came back on me. That's the time. What the
nah,
question about?
we talking about the same thing. I was just saying that I still hold these teachers accountable because they knew better.
Yeah, they need to be accountable. That's all right. Shoot, I've been saying that. Because they taught us the wrong information, wrong history. They taught us European history. They didn't teach us. They never taught us who we was and everything. And I ain't know. Let me tell you something about. Let me explain to y'all chat. I ain't never felt right while coming up as a kid, man. You know what I'm saying? I knew something wasn't right. We wasn't being taught right about who we really was. Like, like Marcus Garvey told us that we should separate from our enemy. We should be building and doing things. Marcus Garvey said out of his own mouth we should be building, and it was crazy. They shipped him back to Jamaica. They transported him because he's trying to wake his people up and tell us the truth for ourselves. And in the day, our teachers, they never teach us about who Marcus Garvey was, who was this and that and everything. And like they need to be held accountable because it's crazy because money gets to their bad, that people would do anything to sell out for a piece of bag. And in the day, That's what's wrong as a people in America. We the only group that go for any. We'll go for any piece of crumb that's on our master table. In the day, we gotta learn how to create our own, and we got the wealth. There ain't no excuse not to build. There's no excuse. I like it, my brother. There's no excuse, my brother. Well, in the chat, I'm just saying, in the chat, man. Like you, I'm glad that we have this platform because you needed to discuss it. I'm glad you discussing this chat platform because it's about holding our teacher accountable. While I was coming up in school, well, I was in elementary school, middle school, high school level, man. They ain't teach us who we were. They never teach us our history and none of that stuff. They ain't teach us none of that stuff. And all they taught us about St. Christopher Columbus, that we was slaves and all that nonsense. They taught us we was slaves, everything. They ain't teach us how to. All they taught us in school is math, fill out the application, 9 to 5 job and all that, and go to school and go to college and get an education. That's it. They ain't teach us about no trade school, none of that stuff. I ain't know nothing about no trade school. I ain't know nothing about no economic, no finance, none of that. So when I got older, once I got out of school, I found out on my own. And nobody really teach me none of that. I had to find out on my own. And I know y'all in the chat had to find out on your own too when y'all got out of school. And I passed my Mac next.
And yeah, and that's true. Like even when it comes down to finance and all the things that we do every day, I never learned that either. Dealing with finance and even just how to learn how to write a checkbook. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these are the basic things that we should have been learning as we got older, and they failed to do that. When you have other kids, they learn it at like the age of, or I mean, they learn it early. You know what I mean? So, and I think, like I said, I think one of y'all said the best. How it's more like we wasn't taught, or we wasn't taught to take any type of leadership. We wasn't taught to be empowered in some sort of way or form. We wasn't taught to learn how to work for ourselves, to own businesses. We was taught to serve, and I think that's what it was. And these teachers were happy that they was in the they was in they was sitting in the white man's house. They was happy they had a job, and they was in they thought whatever they was doing, it was good enough. You know, like I said, I could understand our elders. They had to do what they had to do, but they could have at least told a story, um, what they went through, and just kind of warned us, saying, "Look, don't live with these people. You don't want to live with them. You don't want to associate with them. Build your own. Do better than me. Learn those skills. Learn how to read. Learn how to write. Master that. You know what I mean? I mean, they could have said something. Some of our elders was on point. Some of them didn't. So I'm not saying all of them. Like I said, I'm not saying all of them our elders failed, but some of our elders did fail us. Some of our they did. Some of our parents failed us. Um, but they had a responsibility, man. Like what you talking about, I just don't get it. Like if you talk about the enemy and you talking about what these people done to you, where's the fighting back? And it don't have to be, you know, picking up a weapon. It's all about fighting back with your mind. Like, okay, you did this to my people. This what I'm gonna do. I'm going to indoctrinate my kids to learn certain things so they can fight back. So that's how I look at it. That's how I look at as far as strategy. You know what I mean? So we shouldn't have to be forming gangs like the Bloods and Crips. We shouldn't have to do these things. We shouldn't have to do these things. Uh, if black folks love guns so much, they could have said, okay, we're gonna go to the gun range. We're gonna teach our kids how to shoot properly. We're gonna teach them how to self-defend themselves. There's many ways uh it could have been handled so we won't be complaining each generation complaining about the same thing. You know what I mean? So it should have life should have got really black people should have got really tight by now. We should have stayed on code by now, and we should not be keep talking about the same thing over and over again. But we got to find out where the source come from, and the source come from our black teachers and our elders, because they was there. They were part of the history. They were part of the movements and stuff like that. If Marcus Garvey was educated in the early 1900s, Malcolm X was educated. All these guys was educated. They knew. So if a teacher telling me, if somebody telling me the teachers didn't know, I laugh because it's funny to me. It's like a joke. When I had a teacher told me that, yeah, they gonna keep this from you. So it's crazy. CJ's on you.
Okay, yeah. Man, so much of my history has been hidden from me. I'm like right now just trying to, put the pieces of the puzzle back together. That's why I suggest, and this is why I personally took a DNA test, because I just wanted to learn just more about, where the hell did I come from? Man, I've, gotten one step closer as far as like I know about a little bit about, at least I know somewhat of my admixture. Being Nigerian, Ghanaian, and things like that. So I definitely, because man, I agree, man, 100%, man. These teachers, that they're not gonna give us the proper education. So with this being said, they're all just part of the system, designed to continue to miseducate us. So we got to take it up on ourselves. At this point, we got to take it upon ourselves. I suggest to everybody, get a DNA test. If you have children, get them a DNA test. Then you can research with your child. You know, whatever the results may say in your DNA test, go through there, man. Pick up head to the library. I mean, if it shows that you have Nigerian ancestry, man, go pick up some books on Nigeria. Learn, some things about Nigerian history. That's where I'm at right now, bro. I'm just trying to learn. I'm trying to learn more, about my African history. I mean, we need it all, of course, our history up in this country, but me, I don't like to stop there. I like to go all the way back, to the continent. We just, man, at this point, we just gotta use every tool that we have at our disposal, and just try to. We're gonna have to take it up in our own hands because these school districts, these teachers, we already know, what we were taught, and it's by design. So we gotta take it upon ourselves, man, to do better, get the ball rolling. I'll pass the mic.
Erica.
After segregation, the school was integrated, whether they was predominantly black or white, they were still considered integrated. And the teachers, they just couldn't stand up in the classroom and say, "Don't live with white folks." The black they couldn't do that. They had to go by a curriculum. Now I can see if they went off and had a like a separate meeting, like maybe you take some of your kids to the park or whatever, and then you do something separate outside of school, and then you can teach what you want to, but you just can't stand up in a school and just teach what you want to teach. You just can't do it. That's why they have a curriculum, you know, and what the teachers wasn't teaching us, that's what our parents and grandparents should have been doing. Now my grandparents, they did teach me, about slavery and how bad the white man was and stuff, but I got that teaching at home. The teachers, especially black teachers, they just couldn't stand up and do that. They would have lost their jobs or whatever. We weren't gonna feed them. Let's just be honest. We weren't gonna feed them or take care of their household. So they had to just go by the curriculum. And I passed the mic.
Okay. Ghetto, that's on you. Ghetto.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we get you.
All right, bet. Um, well, I can. I guess I could feel where some of y'all is coming from. Even though some wanted to keep it secret, some wanted to say what they wanted to say. I feel like it should have been a code where they had to say something as what was said. So we wouldn't be so left in the dark. It's money that they used to control us when we knew that money was how we was gonna feed our family. Money was gonna be how we get what we needed, and we only got half of the damn dollar. We ain't get all of it. So I ain't gonna even lie to you. When it comes to the black people and our indoctrination, it's the longest road ever because it's hard to fight somebody that we feel like has been so dominant for so long. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing else. It ain't nothing else that we could do. It ain't nothing more that we could do. But for motherfuckers that actually want to be about something, standing for something, the fire is in us. So it all depends on how the fuck we about to scorch the earth. Cause this shit, who was CJ? I feel you 100,000 fucking percent. I'm not gonna even lie to you. Every time I see white this or white that, I can't, I can't. Motherfuckers is so out of touch. It's so hollow. These motherfuckers ain't got no soul. Why not kill the white devil? Fuck it.
And yeah, I just want to just weigh on this because we got to know the science of the systematic racism, and because we got to find out we got to find out the root of the problem, because this is the root of the problem, and it's just weird that okay, if we are in this integrated society, how is it that every other race of people is on code but us? What have they been doing that we haven't done so our people could be on code? Our people can learn about our African history. And I don't think our history is not a bad thing if we teaching the basic things that we need to know about where we come from and what we did. How is that a bad thing? But when you go to these schools, they teach you about Rome and Greeks, the classical music in medieval times. And they don't have no problem teaching you that. They don't have no
But they got a
problem
problem with
teaching
telling
you.
us where it came from.
They don't have no problem teaching you about American history with George Washington. I don't give a damn about no damn George Washington. It has nothing to do with me. That's white folks shit. And you mean to tell me black people could not say something? Could say no. We in an urban school. I was in an urban school, and I can't really speak. And if you're, and especially if you're from the South, and I'm assuming most of the kids were black. I believe segregation was still going on. They say it's integrated, but is it really integrated? Because you can't say it's integrated, but they teaching you white people shit. So it should have been a stand. Because this is what black people fought for. I thought that was the whole point of the civil rights movement. To say, hey, we have needs too. So it should have been a collective, not just individual, it should have been a collective of black teachers said, no, we want to install African history to our students, to our black students. And it's plain and simple. I don't, but it's the go along to get along mentality. That's what it was. And we just got to be realistic. To go along, to get along. Because black people want to feel like they want to be an American, and they want to fit in, and they want to be so-called integrated, which they will never be. Black people will never be integrated. That's just an illusion of inclusion mentality. And what happened, it affects generations. When you hold back important information, you're affecting generations of people. And especially, especially when the black woman's supposed to be the first teachers. The black woman is supposed to be the first teachers, the very first, because she's teaching a nation. So I mean, now that we found out the problem is, we cannot, we gotta now turn this around. We gotta turn this around. We gotta turn this around. And that's what we're doing now. We're trying to flip those tables back. We're trying to flip those tables over, because we're not, we can't continue this. We can't continue this withholding information. We gotta teach our youth that, hey, it's cool to be black. It's cool to know your culture. It's cool to be African. And it should not have to be hip hop teaching our children to be proud of themselves. It should not be like somebody like Tribe Called Quest or Rakim. They're not. They're artists. They're music artists. Or they shouldn't be. It shouldn't have not. It should not have to be them. Hip hop should not be how Tupac said it. Hip hop should not be our fathers. When you have teachers, you know, you want to know why the highest dropout rate. I mean, it's in these schools. But especially if you're in an urban community where the majority of the kids, man, actually all of the kids are black students. Yeah, the teacher should say, oh, what, you know what, this, we gotta let them know who they are. We can't continue this dysfunctional activity no more. We gotta teach our kids to love themselves. And then you want to know why the kids keep calling each other the N word. You want to know why your kids are talking about, I'm gonna kill you in, and I'm gonna beat your in ass, and you want to know why? Because they don't know who they are. You're teaching them to hate themselves. You're teaching them white is better. Because you want to go along and get along? It's no excuse. I'm sorry. And we having this conversation because that was the root. This is the root. Withholding information, important information. And then you want to know why every race of people is seceding because they are on code. They are on code. They're teaching their kids about their emperors. They teaching about their history. They teaching about, hey, you know what? Do better by just circulating the dollar. They can say that. I'm sorry, I can't go by this. I can't, or they couldn't, or I can't. I'm not going by that. I just can't go by it. I'm sorry, and maybe that's my revolution mindset. And maybe that's my revolution mindset. Maybe they should put their job on the line. Maybe they should. Maybe they say, hey, you know what? Maybe they should have it like a program, or maybe a free program, or on the side, and say, you know what? Okay, we're gonna teach. We're gonna have a little program outside the school system, and we're gonna teach our kids about African history because they're not gonna allow us to do it. There's many ways to skin a cat. So all this, I can't go by that. I couldn't, and they couldn't, and they couldn't, and I can't, and it's a defeated mindset. It's defeated mindset, and so that's the reason why we're in the condition that I in. I just feel that's part of it, where that it was information that was withheld by us to make us a better people, so we could be in the race. So it's no excuse. I'm sorry. I just can't buy that. I'm sorry. Like I said, maybe it's my revolution mindset. So so I said I think we'll just we go around and what if you want to add anything or whatever to this topic, you can. You give your tell them where they can find you and all that good stuff. All right. So we'll go with Brother Bakari, then Sister Erica, uh, Brother Rashid, Brother CJ, Brother Duke, and Brother Ghetto.
All right, thank you for letting me speak on your panel, right? But at my kids' school, they taught African, they taught the Black history. Mainly because, like I said, I went up to the school. So when we blame the teachers, as of today, I ask again, how many people on here with kids have gone to the school and say y'all should be teaching this in the school? That we got to have a responsibility too. And to say maybe those teachers, I wouldn't tell nobody to put their job on the line when we know we ain't gonna feed them. Dr. Umar can't even get a school open because Black people won't donate money to the school for what he gonna teach. They won't even do, I ain't gonna even say Dr. Umar because people done called him a scammer. Someone say King Randall down in open that school. He wanted to do a Malcolm X school for Black boys. So to ask someone and say we should do a free program, like for me, I was taught shit. I can't speak for nobody else. Erica, she was telling the stories that she was taught. I can't speak for nobody else. I don't know why other people wouldn't talk nothing. But today in 2022, I ask and I continue to ask, if we have kids in school, how many people go to the school and say this is what our kids should be learning? And if they're not going to teach them, what are we teaching our kids at home? I've always taught and I've always learned, because I had to, about Black greatness. But we have a responsibility as well. So what is our responsibility? If we're going to challenge the school, if you're going to challenge what they're teaching, you got to challenge what they're teaching. You got to go up there, not on the social media streets, you got to get it in real streets and go up to the school, walk to the school, drive to the school, catch a bus to the school, however we get there, and say this should be told. How many got kids in the 5th, 6th grade? And when they send home shit like Michael Jordan and Jackie Robinson as Black history, how many go to the school and say, this is not Black history? So in essence, if we're going to say the people that came before us fell, and now we're doing the same thing, so that means we're failing as well as a group. And you can find individuals who has done stuff, but as a group, if we're doing the same thing, we'll fail too. Now, I hear Mike.
I'm gonna say this though. I want to say this. You're right. You're right because the cycle is continuing. But that's the reason why we're having this conversation, so we could try to get to the masses of our people, so we wouldn't have to keep making this mistake over and over again. Now, like I said, I think I told you this, Brother Carr, that when I was, me and my daughter, we was playing. He was playing a board game. I think he was playing chess or checkers or something like that. And I was very, and I was talking about the god Kanun, right? Uh, the Kemet deity, and she was like, my daughter was like, oh yeah, I know about that, So some of the teachers, the teachers are teaching uh some African history, because she was like, yeah, I know about that. Yeah, that's my teacher was telling us about that. Now I can't speak for all, but I'm just saying that some of our teachers today are learning and educating and making sure our kids can learn these things, you know. So there's no excuse today. The information is out there on YouTube. I just feel like there's no excuse today. Now I can actually say it was probably much harder when I was growing up, because we didn't have YouTube. There was no Facebook, there was no social media at that time, but the news and stuff like that on TV. But we didn't have YouTube and stuff like that they can go to, or anything. Or the access was the only thing they had was the library, right? But if you're an educator, and if you love education, if you love to learn, and people been doing it, they have done it. They have done research and all that, and that should have been part of their their as far as their curriculum. That should have been saying, okay, since I like to do research or what, I want to do research about my history. I want to do it, and maybe I can, you know, give it 5 minutes so our kids can learn something about who they are. I mean, like I said, there's many ways to skin a cat. There's many ways, and I'm not saying they should lose their job in per se, but when I'm saying, I'm talking about as far as it should have been some sort of revolution, collectively, as teachers coming together and say, no, we need to put this in part of our curriculum. And sometimes, like I said, revolution is sacrificing. It is sacrificing. So we gotta think about these things. Because our kids are, some of our kids are just, they're lost. Some of them, I can't, like you said, some of our kids get it, but then you got some kids that don't. We still, we can't keep making this mistake every generation. We can't keep doing that. And this is the reason why we're having this conversation now, so we can learn from the past, so we don't have to keep making mistakes in the future. You know what I'm saying?
Can I
Go
say
ahead.
something right quick there? Can I
Go
say
ahead,
something right quick?
go ahead,
I'm
brother.
gonna tell you something. A lot of these now, a lot of them was just scared, right? And I'm gonna tell you, I remember when my son he took it. He said, we never stood for the national anthem. I taught my kids that because my dad taught me that don't stand for that flag, don't pledge no allegiance to that flag, right? So my son took a knee. This white coach, my son was in the ninth grade. My son was no athlete at all. My youngest son, he was just on the team because he had friends on the team and he was smart, so they was glad to have him there. But the white coach got mad because he took a knee. And after the game, I went to check him. You could have seen all these black men, all of these black men. I promise you, Judge, you might not want to say nothing. That'll make them mad. They just lost the game. You don't know how they're going to act. You don't want to make him mad now. I'm like, man, fuck him. I don't give a shit about him getting mad. He can't kick my son off the team because my son don't stand for the national anthem. Fuck him. And fuck y'all too. Y'all gonna stand there and think. I say I would stand up for y'all kids and y'all know it because y'all done seen me do it. But y'all would stand there and let that white dude talk about kicking my son off the team because he don't stand for a fucking flag. Fuck all y'all. And I checked that white coach. He coached one more football game after that. Fuck him. And fuck, they were scared, dude. I'm just being honest. Scared. So think about it. That was this my son freshman year 2018, 2019, 2017, 18. If motherfuckers was scared in 2017, just imagine how scared somebody was in 1937, bro. Just think about if they scared in 2017. That's it. I just wanted to say that.
No, you're right. I can imagine. And like I said, I can't really speak on too far back. I can only speak on the time I was growing up and time that my experience. And like I said, I can understand that a lot of people couldn't read or write, and but they could tell stories about that. But I'm just talking about as far as my time, as far as our time growing up, um, how it was. So you talking about, I was probably, some people might go back into the 1960s or 70s and even the 80s when I went to school. When I first went to school, started school in the 80s and stuff like that. So, um, I had most of my teachers was black, and like you said, they could have been scared. They could have been scared. If they scared today, they were scared then. And I agree. So a lot of them is based off of fear. But because of fear, you've done a generation of your people an injustice. Our people didn't die for nothing. Our people didn't fought for nothing. And that's what I'm little, but now that we know, and I'm glad we having this conversation. Because we can't continue this. We can't continue withholding information from our babies. We can't do that. It's our duty, it's our job as teachers, as parents, as elders, because soon we're going to be elders. Soon we're going to be elders. We can't let people outside us say, "Oh, you're speaking hate." So that's what white talking points. That's the impressive talking point. That's the tricknology. They're master of tricknology of using certain terms. Oh, because I tell my children, and hopefully I get grandchildren. I'm speaking hatred because I want to let them know who they are. So if I teach my kids about hate because I'm teaching about, so I guess the Asian man and the Asian woman are teaching hate as well. The European man and European woman teaching hate as well. You mean to tell me you got all these white faces on Mount Rushmore? That's hate. Ain't that hate? That's in America. It's in America, right? Where's the black man, black woman? I could just throw in, where's the yellow man? Where's the yellow man and yellow woman up there? Since we all one people, since we all together. But no, they got white faces on Mount Rushmore. That's hate. All those statues they had the statue of what's his name, Marion Sims, who's the father of gynecologists who butchered black women. They call him the butcher, and his statue was right in New York City for almost 80 years, almost 100 years before they took it down. So let's remember these things. Let's remember these things. Yes, we need to be angry. We need to be very angry. We need to not give a fuck. Like I said, there's many ways to skin a cat. They could have still, those black people could have still kept their jobs, but they could have just did some what they call Underground Railroad program. You know what I'm saying? So our children can go to and find and teach them about their history. If they was afraid to lose there's many ways to skin a cat. I'm not buying this. I'm not buying this whole this I can't or they couldn't. I just can't buy that. Like I said, just me because I have a revolutionary mindset. We all, as a people, collective, we all have a responsibility. But we can't complain when our children are out of order. We can't complain when you have your black son is married to a white woman. We can't complain. We can't complain. Can't complain even with the Serenium sisters, how you can't complain about your black daughter and married to a white man. We can't complain. When they marry these oppressors, I don't care if it's a white man, yellow man, or whoever. We can't complain. Because because we didn't say, no, don't marry these people. Don't have children by these people. They do not like us. They do not love us. They will never respect us. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta keep that in mind. This is the reason why we having this conversation. Because it needs to be, so we might have to do a part 2 on this. Because they're really instill this in our head. All right, so go ahead, Erica. It's on you.
Well, somebody been saying something and trying to teach our black children something because you know they're fighting so hard on this CRT theory, and that wasn't even for grammar school, middle school, or high school. It was taught, on the collegiate level. So something, I can't say that we're not teaching our children anything about their history, because something went on in the high schools and the middle schools and the grammar schools to where they're trying to get a law started to where you can't talk about it at all when CRT isn't even on the curriculum. And they're raising hell and fussing about it. So somebody in the schools, some black people, a lot of black people in the school systems is doing something, because they are trying very, very hard right here in Georgia to get that law passed. And like I said, CRT isn't even taught on that level. It's taught on the collegiate level. So somebody doing something. I know I don't have any children, but the children that are around me, my nieces and nephews, they know what's going on because I make sure that I talk about it. And then when they have questions about it, they don't even go to their mama or their grandmama. They come to me. Matter of fact, their grandmama and their mama tell them to call me. So, somebody in the school systems are doing something, because this CRT theory thing got them white people shook all the way up to the White House. So, you know, I'm not gonna bang on my elders and stuff. Like, I just don't know what was going through their minds. And when I was saying why didn't they tell us everything, I was talking about the medicines, along with what we're talking about, but I was talking about like the medicines that they made, back then. Like now, it's more dangerous for black women to go to the hospital to have a baby than it is to have a baby at home.
Mm.
That's crazy. Why they didn't teach us about giving birth at home, and how they had to deliver the babies at homes, and like I said, the different medicines, and how they made. I remember my grandma made some soap. She called it potash soap. That should have scrubbed you damn clean. We didn't never have acne or nothing with that soap. Never. Never. That soap was so strong you can melt it down. If you didn't have any bleach, you can melt that soap down and wash your clothes, and your clothes be bright as hell. Hang them out bright as you didn't need bleach. I was just wondering why mama didn't pass that down. Why she didn't teach me about the potash soap, and you know about how to make that tea for the diabetes. Why they kept that a secret? That's mostly what I was talking about, and along with the school stuff. But it was an array of things. But like I said, maybe we'll have to do a part two. And thank you, God, for letting me speak on your panel. And everybody can find me anytime you see Team Black or United We Win. That's where you can find me. And I pass the mic.
Yeah, when we talk about our history, that all that comes together. You know, uh, health because they did have a health curriculum. And that's another thing too. The health because we do things only how we do things to keep us healthy. You know what I'm saying? We do remedies and all that stuff, and it should have been because all that part of is part of African history too. Medicine, science, all that. We just do things differently that only fits us. So yeah, they should have had a health class. They should have had a health class to teach you how to teach how teach, taught us how to do things um in health. And I'm not saying like I said, it's just that all that is part of of our history. All that's part of our history. So yeah, I won't. And yes, and our elders should have taught us certain things as well. So I definitely agree with you on that. But all that should have been taught in school. All that stuff that we should have learned. Because sometimes our parents is just too busy. Some they have to work, and we got to take that all into consideration too. So yeah, our teachers, there's a reason why I focus on that because we spent most of our time in the damn school. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, it's yeah, all that comes together. All that yeah. When I talk about African history, I'm definitely talking about medicine, science, uh, uh, economics, all that. Um, so yeah, definitely. So Rashid, it's on you.
Yeah, man. Dave, I'm on. Thank you for letting me be on your platform. I appreciate it, man. We definitely got to do part two, man. This is crazy. You know how they document in our brains since we've been a kid. We've been taught that since we was a first born baby. A la mom womb. How we was taught to hate each other and go to tell the sheep on the other side. That was the biggest lie I've been told to fall our face. That we was all equal. Now they got us. They got us with religion. They had, gave you religion like saying God, Daddy, Jesus, stuff like that, and saying that God created all equal. We all equal. You can't look at them as your And me in the day that was the trick and knowledge, like you say, they trick and knowledge, and they trick us with all kinds of stuff that get to suck us in, to make us hate ourselves and love everybody else. How can you love everybody that don't love you? That don't make sense, bro. We've been so brainwashed to hate one another. That's been documented in our brain since we've been a baby from all the way to now. It's going to continue to continue to change. They're going to continue to keep teaching our kids from there. They're not going to change. You think the white Europeans going to change? Heck no. That's their nature. They're not going to change. We got to make the change of it. Can't be looking for somebody else to solve our problem. In the day, we got to make the change of it and change our condition. Only us can get our condition flipped side down, and reverse it. Make our condition a lot better. Because right now, that was that was the biggest lie ever been taught to me while I was coming up as a kid, man. And we need to do part two. And I enjoy listening to your platform. I enjoy listening to everybody on the chat line. And I salute y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Definitely. And like I said, I want to thank everybody on here too. You know what I'm saying, for coming through. Definitely. CJ is on you.
Okay. See, I'm a little bit more understanding, especially when it comes to black people, fresh, off the plantation, like in the early 1900s. My great grandfather, was a sharecropper. He only had a third grade education. He was brought up, in a class to where there was only one book for like 20 um different students. So with the lack of, information and education people during that time period, I personally believe that they did the best, you know, to their ability. But I believe in the 80s and the early 90s, man, there was just no excuse. I mean, black people, black teachers, and I'm talking about in black schools, predominantly black schools. There's just no reason that the teachers couldn't have done more, even if they would have been putting themselves to risk their job. They could have did something like underground, because these are the educators.
Facts.
And like the brother was saying, parents and stuff, man, they, man, busy working. A lot of our people come from single parent households. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, shoot, if you're already raising a child by yourself, busy working, man, just to keep food on the table, you know, it's just like, man, and then you get off of work and you like, man, tired, and you know what I'm saying, all these different type of things. So the teachers, these are the educators, these are the educated ones. They could have put together, implemented some underground programs. They didn't have to do it on school time, so I don't think that can necessarily be used as an excuse. Um, but we as a people have moved so far from um being looking at each other as a community, as a family, to the point to where it's just all about individualism and not the collective whole. Um, but one thing that we do have to be aware of now, especially in this modern day, with the internet and all of that, we gotta watch out our children being taught misinformation. I mean, now when you look, you get all these bull crap stories about, okay, now blacks, there was no such thing as a slave trade. Um, there was no such thing. Black people didn't come over here on ships. We were the original red man. We're the original Native American Indian. So now our history is just being, man, I mean, man, we got all these misinformation teachers out here. Man, we got to be real careful about what our children listen to, what our people are buying, because shit, you got black folks out here talking about that, that they don't even come from Africa. We ain't African. Slavery never happened. Man, I heard stories, and I even did a joke stream about this. Abraham Lincoln was black. Um, Christopher Columbus was black. Oh man, that That foolishness right there deserves a stream. I mean, an entire stream for itself. Abraham Lincoln was black. Christopher Columbus is black. The original Viking is black. The original Chinese are black people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so many teachers of misinformation out here. So, be careful, what your kids listen to. But on that note, man, I appreciate the invitation to the panel, and as always, man, great discussion. I'll pass the mic.
Yeah, I wanted to just add on something because you brought up the movie Lean on Me, and you see how the principal and the teachers took charge, and how they went to the homes and started to really be involved in the students. You know what I'm saying? And maybe the teacher, the principal, he got on the teacher. He was like, "Yo, you want to know why these kids out here um killing themselves? And it's because we failed them." This is from the movie Lean on Me, and that came out what, late '80s. So yeah, they have a responsibility. They had a responsibility. Okay, so that movie pretty much said it best. So definitely. Go ahead, Duke. It's on you, brother Duke.
All right, my brother. All right, appreciate everybody's comments, and also I appreciate you inviting me on as well. I want to make a proposal for everybody on this panel. We speak pretty much like-minded, and it is very, very, very important that we find where we are. Now, I want to propose something. I tell you this: if we ever want to find more of us, we gotta listen. We gotta look at the title that we put out. And I give you an example. If I put out a title, we got a new program. We're gonna have discussions. It's gonna be an ethnic cleansing program. No whites, no gays. When you start saying that, you'll find many of us, and then you'll repeat it. You'll say, ethnic cleansing is our plan, without weapons, without violence. Maybe we can take that term and change it, but no whites, no gays. Again, the third time, ethnic cleansing without white sympathizers and gay sympathizers. So that's the same thing. If you say that, you'll find many of us. And when we find us, then we should go underground. That's my take. I really think that's what we need as a people. We need to find each other and then make sure that number be right and take it to the underground, baby. Railroad. Take it underground and start building our nation. Again, I thank you again, brother. I rest my mic.
Definitely, I agree. Ghetto's on you.
Yo, thank you. I want to first thank y'all for letting me speak. Thank you for letting me speak my mind and, getting with everything off my chest on these topics. I think for my peers and us growing up, we were definitely kind of sort of let down by our older generation just because they didn't know, our parents didn't know too much. You know what I mean? So I don't hold that against them because I'm out here trying to get my own information, my own knowledge so I can create my own, theory on how I want to move forward on being a black man in America. I think definitely we do need to start with our kids and see where their interest is at. Let them know that there are black men in the community that really do care, that is really dominant and that want to teach y'all, you know what I mean? Teach y'all how to be a real ass nigga. No, it's getting real man. But and then I think we also should start like a little GoFundMe or like just a little something, a pot that we could just put in. Just it'll be $1, $2. You know what I mean? So we could just really kind of, how Tariq Nasheed trying to build his, how Umar Johnson trying to build his. We can build our own. You know what I mean? It don't even have to be too much, but we could set our goal, and then we could get our building together. You feel me? But I want to appreciate y'all for letting me speak my mind, and I rest my mic.
Hey, Ghetto Therapy, email me your DM me your email, and I'm gonna shoot you an email. We have a meeting tomorrow, Team Black is, and we're gonna discuss some of what you just talked about.
I'm definitely going to be there.
I got you.
And I'm gonna be shooting them out. It's gonna be like 7:30. So DM me your email, and I'm gonna shoot you so you can make it to the meeting tomorrow evening.
Bet.
All right.
So I just want to say thank you for everybody that showed up. And like I said, we might have to do a part 2 on this because it gets deep. I know Sister Erica got some more things to address on it because I think this is something that we need to because like I said, it's all about finding the root of why we in the condition that we're in. And we might have to do a lot of things. We might have to go right back on that do that underground. You know, we have to do certain things that um you know that's so our enemy won't infiltrate. And that could be black people too, because you got black people that don't want to see us, don't want to see their own people grow, because they got so used to eating those butter biscuits. You know what I'm saying? Um, so and like I said, you know, for the teachers say that for people say, well, the teacher couldn't do it. Well, that's not true, because when you look at the movie Lean on Me, they did it, and that was based on a true story. They knew. And you know, and when you had a principal say, "Hey, we failed them because you know the reason why these kids are acting like a fool because we failed them. We're not giving them anything for them to look up to. We're not giving that. We should be the role models, not the gangsters, not the rappers. You know, it should be parents and teachers that we should be looking up to, and then we should be praising them somewhat. But we looking at the rappers, we looking at the so-called thug on the streets, the pimps, the drug dealers, and all this other stuff, and that's not cool. That's not, we the only race that do that. We the only race that do that. I'm sorry. That's not who we are, and that's something that was forced on us. And if it's not them, it's the athletes. It's the LeBrons, it's the Michael Jordans, it's the Kobe's, it's the I don't know, Mayweather's, fans. It's all
The Will, the
it's
Will Smiths and the Chris Rocks.
right. Will Smith, the Chris Rock. I mean, it's nonsense, man. It's like that. Those are our heroes. All these all these entertainers, those are our heroes. Like Brother Bakari said it best too. They push that on us, and we think that's success. You know, but but we should not put them on a pedestal like that. We should be putting our parents on a pedestal. We should be putting our teachers that taught us right, but they have failed us. We just got to be real honest, and we can't keep making this mistake. And just like Sister Erica said, that you know, when we're dealing with our culture, that's include medicine. That include how to take how that's include us fighting back, and we talking about the art of war, uh, medicine, economics, science. That's all. That's all. That's something that we have our way of doing things. Every race of people have their way of doing things for themselves to build up their nation. We trying to be like them, and if you keep trying to be like them, we gonna keep falling. We cannot be like them. Like my mother always said, you can't do what white people do. And every time when black people do what white people do, what happens? They end up dead or in jail, or they bumming in the street. That's just where it is. That's where it is. That's what it comes down to. So we gotta learn from our mistakes. We gotta learn from the past. We gotta learn from the past, and we can't be on this. individualism. We gotta be collective. And this is the reason why it's very important we have this conversation. It's very important. We gotta have it. We gotta have it. That's the only way we can get down to business. So with that said, I want everybody, to enjoy their weekend and just think about what we talked about. Just think about what we talked about. Just really sit down. But I enjoyed everybody's thoughts and wisdom, and I want to thank Sister Erica because she brought this to my our attention yesterday, and I'd say, wow, that's a great topic, and it's something that we really need to discuss because it bothered me a lot because I'm trying to figure out how we get into this condition because a lot of stuff I didn't know. If I would have known not to put my hand on my chest with the American flag, I wouldn't even done it, but I've done it because I didn't know.
Me too.
I did not know. I didn't know
Me
about
too,
the
man. I didn't know better either.
I didn't
Me
know
too.
because nobody didn't teach her. That's the point I'm trying to make, brothers and sisters. Nobody didn't tell us that. The fucking black teachers didn't say, hey, we not doing that. Not in this school, not in no urban school. After what people went through. They should have had a Marcus Garvey flag in our school. The Pan-African flag. There was no Pan-African flag in my school. They know nothing about it. Until I got into my teenage years. So we gotta,
Facts.
yeah. So it's just reality. It's reality.
Can I say something right quick? Can
Go
I
ahead,
say
brother.
something right quick
Go
before
ahead,
you
brother. Go ahead.
close? Look, I'm not even involved in that school no more because I have no kids in middle school no more, right? But I promise you, my daughter's a junior. But for the last 3 years, excuse me, they only do it in February. But every February, they had a red, black, and green flag out there on their flashing, on a on a where I live is like 75% black. They had a red, black, and green flag. Not the flag, those digital signs, they have a digital red, black, and green flag flashing the whole Black History Month.
Nice.
About a mile and a half from my house, yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And you know what, brother Carr, it's funny. You see it little by little that we are getting out of this fear tactic. This fearism. I call it fearism, right? We're getting out of that little by little. Just like when we talk about, our kids, what they have learned, and I tell you about my daughter, what she learned, and everybody can tell their experience and what they learned. CJ said that he just now learned about his culture, doing his DNA. Like we now hearing about these stories. That's something that we should have been experiencing since we was kids. And I love to hear stories like that because it's something that um is something that we should have been learning then, but you know, we getting out of that little by little. But just imagine if we learned that then. Just imagine if my mother and my father learned that then. Uh,
I got one more story.
Go ahead, sister. And when you go, we got somebody on the panel named Page Seven Ox or whatever. I'm sorry, but go ahead, sister. You go ahead.
I got one more story.
Go ahead, sister. You go.
My uncle Kerry, I got an uncle named Kerry. He's 62 years old, right? And so when the whole, um, you know how they was busing the children to the schools. My uncle Kerry was involved in that. He was one of the first little black boys that went to this school in Macon, Georgia, called Charles H. Bruce School. It was a all white squeaky school, right? Well, I think my uncle went there in the third grade. My grandmama made him go. And he didn't want to go to an all white school. And, I don't blame him. But my grandmama made him go. And he he went there about 2 weeks, and he used to complain about the teachers didn't like him, and we can imagine that. So he came home one day and he told my grandmama that the teacher kicked him. My grandmama got her pocketbook and put my uncle in her car and went back up to Charles H. Bruce School, went in that lady classroom and told that lady, don't you ever put your feet on my son again. And she kicked the lady. She kicked her the way that she kicked my uncle.
Mm.
Now, my grandmama is dead, but my uncle ain't. And me and him is very close. But guess what my uncle told me 2 months ago? I lied.
Oh wow, wow. Oh damn.
And I don't have to, you can't blame them for that because that's all them motherfuckers do. That's all them white bitches do is lie, 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 because they can't have black dick, because they are getting black dick, right? And they don't want to be with them no more. So
my uncle said he came home and he lied to mom because that was the only way he was gonna get out of that school.
Oh
That's
wow.
all
And
he
my
wanted to.
uncle said, I have held that in forever, and I feel comfortable enough to tell you that I lied.
That's what
The
white
lie,
chick does.
the lie, the
That's what
lie,
white chicks do. Once they get much of money out of you, once they get everything out of you, take your bag, they kick you on the curb. They don't like
the
you who you
lie,
really are and
the
lie
lie
to you.
they,
Yup.
the lie they told on Emmett Till
They doing it
can't
right
be
now to this
equated.
day.
and then I
It
came
cannot
to
be
sort of the
equated.
conclusion
It
we never.
cannot be equated to what you said. The lie that they told on Emmett Till got his life taken, an innocent young boy. The lie that they told cannot be equated to that.
You ain't see what just happened to the 27-year-old black boy that got killed by his own girlfriend? That the white girl was kissed him in the lip and then she stabbed him. She killed him. You
Yeah,
saw last
right.
week.
Yeah.
We
You heard
just
about that?
recently had a conversation about this,
Yep.
and
Yeah, you heard
I'm
about
gonna
that?
say this. Look, I'm gonna say this. Can we really be upset about that because he's a part of the Coon class?
He was part of the coon.
Yeah,
That was
he
his
definitely
fault.
was a coon. You're right about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
That's a
had
good
this same
point.
conversation with a dude on Clubhouse, not a
Good point.
Clubhouse, it was Riff, and I was like, let's be honest, would we have the same energy? Like, would you have the same energy if this was Jesse Peterson?
Fuck no.
Like,
No,
exactly. So,
no.
you know, we can't sit up here
He
and
got what
blame
he
the black
deserved
woman
with
because she
Jesse.
don't want to stand up for the black man that chose the white woman. You know what I mean?
Right,
I can't
right.
I can't fault them for that.
That's facts.
If it was
Yeah.
Jesse, I would say he got what he deserved. It was Jesse.
He got his nigga wake up. Well, all I can tell you, he got his nigga wake up call. That's all I can say. He will. I know
Please
he
tell
was.
me y'all heard about this white fucking history month.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh
When is
my
that
God.
coming? That's already here.
I heard that it's been going on for 4 or 5 years now. It's in July.
Uh-huh.
Damn.
Never heard of it.
Let me
It
tell you
can't be
something.
white.
He's
It
the
Let me
can't.
tell
founder
you.
of it.
I mean, how white they
He the
gonna make
founder
it?
of it.
Shit, how white they gonna make it?
Hello. Hello.
That
You know
is the
these kids.
question. Hopefully they get all the way into the Caucasus Mountains. Shit.
You know these kids. Listen to me. They white kids. They be born out of them. They be taught to hate black people. They being taught to be racist to us. Kids don't know what racist is, but they only being taught by their parents to teach them to hate us and to say that we are no good. We monkeys. We are monkeys and all that. And that's what their kids got their racist from their mother. Cause their kids only being taught racist from their mom and their dad. That's the bottom line.
And we the only
What?
ones that's going back and forth calling each other nigga this and nigga that, and we don't hear
Yup.
them saying what's up cracker, what's up red, you know what I mean, what's up redneck.
Nope. Heck no. Heck no. We the
We don't
only
we
group
the
that
only
does
ones
it
that's
in
so
America.
indoctored.
It's embarrassment. I
Mm-hmm.
say, how can you run away from your blackness and we the best thing on the planet? We got the best melanin skin, best melanin skin complexion. Everybody want to be us, but they hate us at the same time. But you know what's crazy about us? We want to be like the white Caucasian. I don't get that's come on. That's upside down. You live upside down, bro.
I do have a
Come
question.
on.
So why is it in other countries, like saying, well, I don't know if it's going on in Nigeria. I don't know. I just know that it's a whole bunch of um whitewash. They want to bleach their skin. Why they want to bleach their skin so
Because they
much?
hate themselves. Listen to me. I know why. Because they don't love themselves. They don't like themselves.
And they in they country
That's
bleaching their
self-hatred.
skin.
They want to be white man. They want to be white European so bad, and they run away from who they come from. They don't even know who they was. It was because of that programming condition, brainwashed the system. We all was born into that. We had to get out of it. They haven't been taught who they was about Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, and all. They was only taught about white history, and it been doctored in their mind. You know how they've been doctored in your children's mind, and all the time now, while you grown up, it's always it stick with you till the day you die. It's on you to wake up and get out your sleep, cause there ain't nobody gonna save you. And today, it's called self-hatred. When you bleach your skin, that means you don't love yourself. You hate yourself. That's called self-hatred. You
This
hate
is
yourself.
this is the reason why it's good we have this discussion. Like I said, we might have to do a part two about this.
Yes,
This
do
is the
part
reason
two,
why
please.
it's very important when you don't apply African history and apply it to the curriculum. This is what it does to our people. This is what it does. It brings self-hate. It brings self-destruction. And that's the reason why we have to talk about this, because we're going to try to find the root of the problem. We're not talking about the 1930s or the 1940s. We're talking about between the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and even the 90s, where that our people knew. Our people knew. So there's no excuse of that. There's no excuse. And why they withheld information,
Facts.
I don't. That's the big question. I might hopefully I can interview somebody who's a teacher and may ask them why you failed, why didn't what I'm saying? Like, we might have to go back to these people and say, hey, why you didn't teach us this? Why you didn't teach us that? To find out what's the real reason. Um, but again, like, a lot of things I didn't know, a lot of things I should have known. And this is the reason why I hated school. I hated going to school because they wasn't really teaching anything that I should have known. It wasn't teaching anything interesting. Everything that they knew was white people shit. And it was
Facts.
even
Well, I
that,
was the
and
same way
even
like
that
you,
was
bro.
watered down. So we
Facts.
can't be too hard on ourselves, because a lot of times we didn't know. So with that said,
I'm the same way. That's it.
go ahead, go ahead.
Hey, before you go, bro.
I'm the same way.
Oh, my bad.
I'm the
Let
same
me
way
go
like you, my
first.
brother, man. I was taught the same way. I didn't feel like going to school either, and I didn't feel like going to church, because all we was being taught is white history, white Jesus, and all that. And my Bob always told me, I used to hate. I was raised in this foster lady house. She used to say every Sunday morning we had to get up early. It's time to get up. I said, damn. I said, fuck. Why we gotta go to these church early morning service? I said, hate getting up in the morning going to church because I didn't feel right. It didn't fit my spirit, man.
Yeah,
And my
same here.
spirit
It
used to
didn't
tell
fit
me,
mine either. It didn't fit mine either. You're right.
huh? I didn't feel like the school wasn't teaching me right. All they taught me was math and spelling. They didn't teach me about no Marcus Garvey, my history, and all that. They didn't teach none of that stuff. And that's why they had me on medicine, because I knew too much. I wonder why they had me on medicine CD. I said, ain't nothing wrong with me. I could read just like everybody. I knew my math good. I like calculating in my head. I'm real good when it comes to math. And I figured why they had me on medicine, because I knew too much. They had to keep me silent and keep me quiet. You know what their strategy was? You talk too damn much. They would try. They'd try to make you feel bad, say you talk too much. This for you not to know what's going on.
Hey, before you
That's
leave, bro, I wanted to ask you something, guy, because
go
I
ahead.
don't know when
Go
the
ahead.
next,
Yeah, bro.
yeah, I don't know when the next time I'm gonna hear from you. Shit, did you hear about what happened to Will Smith, man? He got banned for 10 years from the Oscars.
10 years, y'all. 10 years.
Yeah, that's what
And
it said.
that's some bullshit.
I
But
don't like.
guess what?
I don't.
We
Yeah.
wouldn't have a problem with it if we had our own black Oscars.
Well, let me tell you this. I don't really give a fuck about no Will Smith. I mean, I think to be in my opinion, what he did was messed up, and that's just me. you hitting another black man like that over a little stupid joke, but when your wife admitted to you that she slept with her son's best friend, and you don't do nothing about that, you're not angry about that. Yeah, I really don't. I really don't give a shit, about what he's going through. He deserved whatever he deserved. It. I don't give a damn about no Jada Pinkett because she's a whore to me. I'm just speaking realistic. I'm sorry. That's just how I
The
feel
shit
about
was
it.
all staged anyway.
It was staged, but just that for them, just that to do this Jerry Springer and Maury crap and making us look stupid like that, and it just looks really bad. It just really looks bad, and feeding right into the stereotype. I don't play those things. I like to prove people wrong. I like to make people look stupid when we do the right things and respect each other and love each other. I'm not into all that. I'm not into all that because if you look at Maury and Jerry Springer, that's all they do is have black people fighting each other and looking silly. And guess who's making money? Jerry
The white
Springer
people.
and Maury
White
Povey.
people, what?
White people making
And
tons of money. Yeah, everybody getting paid.
Steve Wilkos, and you forgot Steve Wilkos too. Even Steve Wilkos, so you forgot Steve Wilkos.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So
All of them bastards.
yeah. Oh, we got
All
brother.
three of them. You forgot.
Go ahead,
You
brother.
forgot to put Steve Wilkos. That's why I say you forgot Steve Wilkos.
Oh, Steve Wilkes. Yeah, he's another one. He's another one. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I think that was Jerry Springer bodyguard, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah,
he started.
yeah. That's how he started. Yeah, we got forecast. What's going on, forecast? How you doing, brother?
Yo, what up, everybody? My bad, I'm late, bro. I
I
just
know,
got
I
to
know,
work.
because you work today, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll give you a few minutes. Why do you think that our black teachers and their elders withhold information from us too? They, so we could be equipped to unite and coming together as a people and creating a nation. And when I mean like information like African history, African studies, like medicine, science, uh, talking about our heroes like Nat Turner and the school systems, and even with our elders giving us important information. Why do you think that they did that?
I think it's like two reasons. I think most nowadays, like it's what we're talking about today, most teachers, because we don't really have as many black teachers as we should, but I don't think the ones that we do have know enough of that kind of stuff anyway. You know what I'm saying? If you ask the average black person, a lot of the information that we talk about, a lot of them don't even know that kind of stuff. And the other part of it is fear. And because not to talk about history, but I remember, like, well, I don't remember it, but I know that there was a time where we couldn't go to their schools. We had to go to our own schools, and teachers taught self-love, self-pride, but they also taught how to manage your money. They taught different things, how to be successful in the society, but also how to protect yourself and all of that. But then, once we started going to other people's school, we start having like white women as our teachers and stuff like that. And then, in turn, like most of the teachers will tell you probably they'll go to school wearing the I voted Democrat sticker on their shirt. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta be willing to, like, because even if you go off the curriculum a little bit, you could get punished. So like anybody, if they are aware of what they're doing, that's a problem. But like I don't think enough teachers even know enough of history here in America. Like like the last 100 years, what black people have been doing to teach it. So I think that's one of the major problems is most of them don't know, and most of them are scared because if they dare say, what I'm saying, some they could get fired or, what I'm saying, worse. So I'll pass the mic.
Yeah, and just like we were saying, is that by them being scared and by them withholding information because when you're an educator, that's one of the things that because like I said, it was not too long ago. It was a teacher that she wanted to apply, or she had talked about African history and she got fired because of that. Um, so it just shows you that should tell black people something right there and there that hey, we might have to get our own school. We might have to do something because our kids are being not equipped to survive. And when we talking about like what CJ talked about, lean on me, where the teachers when what's his name? What's that guy? What's his name? He passed
Joe
away.
Clark.
Who?
The guy that played Joe Clark.
Joe Clark, yes. He took a stand. And he was a principal, but he got on the teachers. And in the movie, he said the reason why these kids are putting up the gun because we failed them, you know. And CJ said it best. He said most of them come from single homes, so the parents got to work and this and that. They might not have time to teach their kids or 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 by the time the weekend come, they want to relax, they want to chill. Um, and so even I mean, you can use that as an excuse, but they can find some sort of time, But and I can understand because you're working, busting your ass. You don't on the weekends you don't want to do anything, and I definitely understand because then you got a whole nother work cleaning the house and cooking, so you might not find the time to do that. Um, so little by little in today's time, teachers are waking up and they're teaching students, giving our kids some medicine. I call it some good medicine, so they can have something to be proud of themselves. Um, but it's not as a whole. It's not massive like it should be as far as everybody is on board. Everybody got to be on board. Um, but back then when I was growing up, a lot of and like I said, I went to an urban school where there was nothing but black kids. But you would think, being that we in these urban neighborhoods, you would think that would be the focus. That would be the no. We living in this state. We live in this community or this neighborhood where most of our kids are black. This what we need something to equip them with this knowledge so they can know about themselves. And I don't think that's a bad thing. If enough black teachers came together and say, no, we need to imply this in the curriculum because this the reason with that will stop the violence of black kids killing each other and self-hate and all this other stuff. They could have said something. What I don't think no one could say no about that. I doubt it. I doubt it. I doubt it. Where you have white people, even white, I don't even think white people would say, "Oh no, I'm sorry, we can't do that." And if you say, "Look, but this is the reason why kids are killing each other," and then you put that, and then what you do if they deny it, then you put that in the press, and you make them look stupid. You make them look, and you got to embarrass them. You know what I'm saying? So there's, like I said, there's many ways to skin a cat. You got to use every strategy to liberate your people, and that's how I look at it. This is the way I say it. Like I said, I don't have all the answers. I just know that just things like that. Like I said, I just have a revolution mindset, and I just feel like that's what I would do. I would just get the teachers together and say, "Look, we need to apply this to us, our kids." But and like I said, I would say this personally, the majority of black teachers that I know failed me except one. And like I said, a brother, he's a Haitian, he had a Haitian background, and he was the only one that said something about my history. But the rest of them, they didn't do that. So I definitely hold them accountable. They have a responsibility. They should have been involved more. Um, and they're just like Joe Clark. They should have been like him. Take a stand. You know. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. That's my thoughts on that. For now. So, but I want to, yeah. So I think I've been here for almost what? I think I started like almost 2 hours. So I'm going to end this live. But before I get, we might have to do and I don't know if you're doing a live later on or anything like that.
Yeah, I might start up one in a few minutes. I missed this one. I wanted to come on here, but I missed it. I didn't get home in time, but
No, that's all right.
I
That's all
might
right.
Uh,
start.
We might,
if you start one, bro, I'll definitely tune in.
yeah, I do. I
Definitely.
tune in
Yeah,
too. So yeah, but yeah, because Sister Erica brought this up, so I wanted to do that. But like I said, we might do a part two because I know there's some other things she wanted to mention. So we might have to do a part two just to really put this out there because I think this is a very important information, and I would love you to be on board. So if I do this again, it might be on a Friday So I know that I probably know that you were going to be available. So because I want everybody to really break it down so we won't continue this cycle of depriving our youth. You know what I mean? So and that's what I felt. I felt deprived from our own people because we should not be having this conversation. We should not be having this. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I need to say about that. But with that said, I'm gonna well, everybody, enjoy their weekend. Forecast if you're doing it live, I definitely gonna come through. All right. So Rashid, Ghetto, CJ, Forecast, thank you so much for coming through. And everybody else, Brother Bakari, all of them, you know what I'm saying? Alka, all of them. So thank you for coming through. But we're gonna have to do this again. So I'll see y'all soon, all right?
All right, peace, y'all.
All right.
All right,
Good
peace.
evening.
Right.
Peace.
That's like